All right. So I'm still here answering questions, even for the next 45 minutes or so. So like I said, you're all in, so you've done at least that part right. When we do the real discussion in October, this is exactly what it's going to be. We're just going to be talking about, classroom management as opposed to, you asking me questions about the course. So, and saying hello. So.
Is that the classroom that we're doing, like you said, is that about the case study that we have to read?
It's the Scott Donovan case study. That's what we're going to talk about. And generally these discussions end up taking several tangents. And sometimes you don't even get to talk about all the case study because we just start talking about classroom management and this and that. And I just let it go. So I think it's a good opportunity for you all to have that discussion we ordinarily wouldn't have if we were just purely doing this online without having the synchronous part. So, so yeah, that's what we'll do. It's low key. It's not great. I don't even make it required because there's always, I can't make it, something's going on. So but I do think it's a good exercise, especially, and it really doesn't matter whether that's better, pre-service, in-service teachers, doesn't matter. I think it's a good exercise. So yeah, that's what we'll do. And when the discussion is done, if it's 20 minutes, if it's 40 minutes, that's it. I mean, there's times we've gone, depending on the class I'm teaching, there's times it's been 10:30. I'm like, folks, I'm falling asleep here. I gotta go to bed. But yeah, those I think you'll find that they are pleasantly exciting conversations. Crazy as that sounds.
And which case study is it that the actual classroom like this is going to be on? Because I'm on Scott. Okay.
It's Scott Donovan. It's in. I think I have the folder called. No, where the hell did it go? It is in the folder called. I think it's called Virtual Class. Virtual Class, the top link, the Virtual Class Classroom Management folder says Scott Donovan case study.
Oh,
that's the one that we'll talk about. It gives me enough talking points to to at least get a conversation started. And like I said, then we'll see where the conversation goes.
Is that different from the other case studies that are in the discussion board?
Yeah, you're not going to. The only thing you have, and really it's a free week in some regards because all you do is you do this. We're going to talk, and that's it. So it's more of a learning activity than it is for a grade. But I think the people who do it and really get into it find that it's very valuable because we bring up a lot of good points. Things about managing your classroom, things about different philosophies of classroom management, methodologies, that kind of thing. So. I don't make it mandatory only because in theory, there could be someone with a Thursday night class, although I can say I've had people who have been in class who have been on the Hangout, which is always interesting. It's meant to be a good learning activity more so than anything else.
Okay, cool.
Back to my Hangout.
The best way to be on track with everything is to follow the course, the calendar, and also the module tab on Blackboard. Just because I want sometimes
that course calendar, the course calendar, you could, and I've had people that will do the course in 2 weeks, minus the minus the postings to other people on the discussion board. They'll say, listen, I know I've got this coming up and I'm just going to, I'm going to go through the whole thing. That's fine. There's nothing, I always, how do I put this? You can go as fast as you want, but not as slow as you like. Once you miss the first deadline, you'll probably miss the second deadline and it kind of becomes a snowball. But if you keep that pace, like you might say, I'm going to do all the special ed stuff and get it all done in week 1. That might give you then 2 weeks free because I kind of spread it out over, 2 or 3 weeks. You might say, I know at the end of the quarter, I'm going to be swamped with grading. So I don't want to do any St. Peter's work between the end of October and the first 2 weeks of November. Okay. Well, then, that's how you plan it out. You can go as fast as you want to, but you really can't go any slower than the calendar, because it's more so not so much for the grading, but for the you just start to get bombarded and the work kind of piles up and you don't realize until the end. It's like, wow, I need to do something. So I think that's important, to try and to stay on pace.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions I can answer?
I was talking when I was on mute. I have a question. I
Go right ahead.
emailed you about my book being back ordered, and I have access tonight. I'll have access. I'll temporary access by the time it comes. I'm just not a person for ebook, but anyhow. So all the work is online through my Pearson. Is that where all the work is going to be completed?
Not all of it. There's a little less than half of it is on the Pearson MyLab.
Okay.
There's other stuff that's on Blackboard. Just be careful with the temporary access that you get everything.
They said everything will be saved. They said everything will be saved. Yeah.
Yeah, they should. It should take Pearson with a grain of salt. Make sure that you potentially have extra copies or anything like that in case something goes awry. Just remind me close to your expiration date of your temporary access. So I'll grade everything, make sure I have everything graded just in case something does go awry. But yeah, for all of you, that I still say, and it's too bad Pearson doesn't give me a kick for trying to sell the online book. But if you order through Blackboard, you get immediate access to the textbook and you get immediate access to MyLab. I think it's, what does it say on the $67.04. That second option that I had highlighted on the in the orientation video. It's the 14th edition of the Amrod book, or no, excuse me, the Woolfolk book, and as well as the instant access to MyLab.
That's what I clicked on. I clicked on the second option, and then it gave me the option for 92. So I don't know where the 67.
Yeah, no, I mean there's people that personal preferences. I have to have a hard copy. That's fine. But I understand that Pearson's, I can't delay to a point where it's, we're backed up with 2 months of work because, Pearson is out of stock. So the temporary access will hopefully tide you over until you get the book, because if you order the hard copy of the book, in the book is a card with your access code to get onto Pearson.
Okay, they say you can, once you get the book, you can update the access, and then that way your account will be up to date. But here's my question for the first week. Do we have anything inside the Pearson?
The Pearson, I think I left it for the second week. Let me look on the calendar. I think the first week is the Dover Elementary. Now, all the special ed stuff is due the week of the 24th. So that's the Dover Elementary case study, the Nikki's IEP, and the Iris functional behavior assessment module. So you could spread it out and do one each week. You could do it all in one shot. You could wait till the end, doesn't matter. But by the 24th, all that stuff has to be done.
By the 20th, or you said the 24th?
24th. That's what it says on the syllabus.
Yeah, the 24th. I have it here. So you're saying those 3 things are on the Pearson, you said, right? Sorry, I got confused.
No, just anything that says MyLab application exercise is what's on Pearson.
What's on Pearson? Okay, got it.
I just have a quick question about the MyLabs. How should we best prepare for the MyLab assignments? Like, what do you recommend?
They're not so much. You're generally going to be presented with either a video. You'll be presented with some type of classroom scenario. I know one of them has a rubric where you're going to evaluate teaching. It's not something you prepare for. It's generally something that's in response to some type of scenario. None of it is theoretical. It's not just, it's not describe. It's not like compare Piaget, or Piaget's theory of moral development. It's all practical stuff. So I don't think you prepare for it per se. You just go in and do whatever you have to do and then answer the questions. So.
Okay. All right. So
I don't think there's any preparation needed.
Okay.
That's part of why you did.
Hi, my name's Andrea. Can you hear me?
Sure can, Andrea. What can I do for you?
So we're just going off whatever's on the syllabus, not like the Pearson course calendar, right?
Correct. I've only, what you see on the Pearson course, there is, well, you might see other assignments, not every one of them has been assigned. So when you look in the modules on Blackboard, you will see links to the specific MyLab assignments that you have to complete. So there's, I want to say 7 or 8 of them maybe, scattered throughout the course.
Yeah. All right.
So, and I still have to, I'm going to implement some of those videos too. I haven't, at some point I want to do some work with them. So.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. What else can I answer? I'm here all night. Quiet in the basement.
So here's my other question. In my previous online courses, usually professors put on like an announcement, like something's due, just a reminder. Is that what you do as well, or?
Depends. I mean, part of this is, this is graduate level work, so I shouldn't have to remind, every week, by the way, you don't forget to do your homework. I might put up reminders that say, by the way, your special ed work is due on the 24th. Don't forget. I'm not one for everyday posting, but you might hear from me every day for 5 and then not again for a week. Just depends, on what's up. But sometimes I'll have to remind, hey, all right, I go in and look at the grade book to grade and like no one's handed any work, so I have to, remind in that regard. But yeah, part of my expectation is it's graduate level work. So you've got the calendar. It's pretty much that course calendar's to-do list of this is what I have to do. So I shouldn't have to remind you. Most likely I probably will, but you can't fault me if I don't. What else can I answer? I'm going to keep the Hangout open till about, let's say 45, unless I see nobody in the in the course of later on. But certainly, if you have questions, you're welcome to stay. It doesn't matter to me. But the point of tonight was for you to see other people, for you to meet me, and for you to ask me questions, and to make sure that you know how to use this. So when we do the class in October, we can get right in and go. So you're welcome to.
I'm going to jump in again. So the learning disability paper, do we have to pick do you give us a topic that we have to do, or do we pick it on?
The topics are listed in there's a folder for learning disabilities paper. There's a bunch of topics listed there. Those are pre-approved. If you want to do something that's not on the list, you have to let me know, and I'll make sure that's okay. But anything on that list in that folder is pre-approved.
Okay, so we have to sign up for it, or?
I'm sorry?
We don't have to sign up for it. We just do one of those topics.
Correct.
Okay.
I just have a quick question about the Google Hangout in general. I don't think my St. Peter's email is connected. Like, does it show you what emails what Google Drive emails connected for me?
No, it doesn't. And I've made it so that I guess it really doesn't matter, because there's always somebody who, oh God, I can't, you should be using your St. Peter's account, but I can't tell. And the only way I can tell is when I see a name when I hover over a name and I go, wow, you're not on my roster. Who are you?
Yeah.
So I look on the right side on the group chat and I see names. I'm assuming you're all logged in with the St. Peter's account. But if you're not, I may not know that unless your name is different on your personal Gmail than it is on St. Peter's. Otherwise,
Yeah.
there's been times where I've been like, hey, that's great. I'm sorry. Who are you? And so, oh, I was signing with my personal account and, my nickname is JoJo or something. And I go, okay, I don't know who you are because it says Harry on here. So, but
Yeah,
other than that, no, I can't differentiate.
When I click the link that you sent for us to
Mhm.
join, it just, when I clicked it, it automatically went through. It's like your name popped up and then it said I was able to join, but my work Gmail was like connected to it. So I wasn't sure if like that made a difference, like if that mattered or not. Okay.
No, as long as you can see and hear me, then that's the extent of, it works. So
Okay, great.
I
I just
used to
didn't
be,
want any problems for like the further Google Classroom stuff.
now if it used to be, depending how we had it set up when I first started doing this. Now I kind of make it more open, only because I know that this is for a lot of people is new. So it's like I want to try to make it as as the least intrusive manner that we can do this as possible. So certainly everybody's if you're on, then you've done that. So
Okay.
but yeah, it doesn't matter what you use. So
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So here's my other, and I'm looking at the course calendar. Some of it is blank. Like for instance, 10-1 classroom management, Those
Things
weeks
do.
are just those two are empty.
There's nothing due. For
There's
classroom
nothing.
management, the bulk of it is due. In essence, I've given you 3 weeks to work on the classroom management unit, and that stuff is all due on October 15th. So it's 2 MyLab assignments and the Iris module, which will take you a little bit of time. So it's you might say, I'm going to do 1 MyLab 1 week. I kind of break it out rather than me saying, okay, I want 1 per week. I kind of break it out this way. My hope is that as you submit it, you don't wait till the end, but I think it makes it easier, to have the flexibility of, I know I can't do it this week, but I'll double up the following week rather than making it due every week.
So those are basically videos and then questions to answer based on the videos.
For MyLab, in some case, yes. In some cases, it might be a text scenario that you have to read and
okay,
discuss.
So it's basically just text review and then answer questions. It's not something that we have to know beforehand. It's something that we have to memorize or anything.
No, and I toyed with giving you a final exam, but I decided not to. So yeah, there's really nothing that you have to do. No assignment you have to prepare ahead of time for. It's all that you can sit down and do without preparation.
Yeah, I didn't see any exams on here, so I was also gonna ask that too. But thank you.
I was toying with actually had it written. I decided not to. So because for some reason it causes a lot of anxiety, even though it's an open book test and it's really not difficult. I find that it even at 10% of your grade causes some concern. So I decided not to give it. So, but the paper is a substantial enough piece that it'll take the time that you would spend on a final exam anyway. So
I can definitely go ahead. I can definitely go ahead and do my labs. I can basically do all these ahead of time at my own pace.
You can do the only thing you have to wait on is the postings to other people on the discussion boards. Everything else is fine. You do whatever you want.
Okay. I actually locked the door for my son not to get in, but he's knocking the door.
Mine are in bed already, so.
Where do I find the IRS behavioral assessment?
There is a folder. It's in the classroom management folder. Modules, classroom management, and there should be a folder in there. Classroom management, And if you scroll down the 1, 2, 3, fourth link in there, it says Classroom Management Part 2, Developing Your Own Comprehensive Behavior Management Plan. Inside there is the link to the actual IRIS page, as well as whatever assessments I need you to do.
Okay, I see it.
Well, I think I'm good to go with all my questions that I had for you. Is it okay if we leave, or if we don't have any more questions, or?
There is no penalty if you leave or stay. You know, I'm going to just, I'm sitting here plotting out activities for, you know, for the this coming school year. So I'm here, and if you think of a question, hop back on. I'll probably keep it live till about 8:40 or so, because my next section is coming on at 9.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, and if you have questions, I find, you know, this is easier. I mean, yes, I will answer emails, but sometimes it's easier to talk in person. And if I have to do something like this, you know, again, at some point, then, you know, that's fine. So.
Okay, awesome. Well, it was nice meeting you.
Okay.
Thank you for answering my questions.
Welcome. Absolutely.
And I can't wait for the semester.
All right.
Bye,
Sounds good.
guys.
Good night.
You said also something in your video stating that there's section 1 and section 2, or obviously section 1. But in terms of submitting your work, there's always going to be a section to submit your work into?
The only reason I say that is because if I'm trying to keep one set of course files for both sections. So, you know, like tonight I said, oh, if you're in section 1, that's how you know you're in section 1, you're at 8 o'clock, because the Google Hangouts maxed out at 25. So I can't put both sections together. So
okay.
That's the only reason, you know, and I've never had multiple sections at St. Peter's before, but there's just a demand. Yeah, I think I've got close to 40 students over 2 courses, over 2 sections. So, you know, it's easier for me not to have to replicate stuff. I'm using the same calendar, you know, so if you were in my other section, you'd get access to the same documents. And it just says, you know, section 1, section 2. That's the only reason that I say it, because of time. Stuff like this will be different times. That's all. Everything else is the same.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Professor Spiegel. I
Hi,
had
is
a
that
question.
you, Michelle?
Yes.
Michelle,
hello.
you in the car? Are you in the car?
I am.
That's what I thought. I think I see. I think I thought I see either moving lights or city lights or something behind you. So that's,
Yes.
you're not the first. You're not the first.
Okay.
I generally.
I'm pulled over.
have,
I'm pulled over. I'm not driving.
Well, you're better than some, because I've always had people that are actually driving, because I actually see the landscape going by in the background. So,
no, that's not safe.
yeah.
I had emailed you about that. I didn't know where the Blackboard sample assignment C1 was.
Yeah.
I saw that on one of the course documents.
And yeah, all that is if you've never used Blackboard before, it's a way for you to just try it out.
Okay.
I used to do it with my lab, but everybody actually did it. And I said, the only thing you have to do is write on there, like, hey, I can do it. It's in, I think it's in the course introduction, or did I just get rid of it? I thought I left it in course introduction.
That was just the one that said like how to submit Blackboard assignments.
Yeah. Oh, I got rid of it. Submit an assignment. Oh yeah, look at that. I did get rid of it. I got rid of it because I think the 5 people that did it didn't need to do it. So, you know, let me take it off the calendar. Where did you see that?
That was on a course document. I don't know if it was called, the title was called course map or something. But
the map. Yeah. Okay. Wow, that means you're reading stuff. That's good.
Yes.
And it's always nice when, you know, I have at this point almost 40 editors of my stuff, so I know that it's going to be correct. Where's that semester map? There it is. Oh yeah, check that out.
Yes, I was
yeah,
like, what is that?
I had it on there.
Something?
No, you're not. I had it on there for that reason, for practice, but I almost felt bad that people were actually doing the sample assignment and not just going, you know, if I said, like, for the one on my lab, I said, just write hello, just so you know this is what it looks like and all that. But people were just, you know, they were actually answering the question. So I said, oh, I'm not making you do more work. So took it off the map. But yeah, that's that's good. At least I know that at least somebody read the map. So
Okay,
good.
I understand. Thank you.
Sure. What else can I answer?
That was all for me. I was
Okay.
listening to the other questions.
Yep. Okay.
Hello, Michelle. It's good to see an
Hi,
old classmate.
hi, Wad.
We have to connect after this.
Yes.
Well, you have to look at that. And that's the nice thing too. Is like, oh, hey, I didn't know you were in my class. If we were sitting in Jersey City, we'd be doing the same thing that we're doing right now. So we'd just be looking each other face to face as opposed to being in my basement. So.
I'm gonna have to excuse myself, but I really appreciate this. I actually like this opportunity because that way it's a lot easier than emailing and then getting mixed messages and everything. So here's another question before I go. You won't be annoyed, for instance, like if I'm up to date with everything, I'm gonna say, oh, professor, is everything okay? Am I up to date? Am I missing something? You wouldn't be annoyed.
Not necessarily. I mean, you look at it depends on the day though. If you look at my grades, you'll see like these are, whatever assignments are graded, what's not graded, if it has an exclamation point being submitted, but I didn't grade it yet. But generally you can tell based on what's on the calendar, and then you'll see what's in my grades. Generally no. But if you just hit the submit button and ask me then if I graded it, then no, then I'll get perturbed. But
okay,
no,
if
you're
something was
fine.
graded and
You can,
obviously, and
if I give feedback, if you're saying, well, why didn't I get the grade I got? I'll try to give you as much feedback. If I'm going to dock you for anything, I'm going to tell you why I'm docking you. Everything that I have has a rubric on it. And if it doesn't, I'll say this is, and unless it's something really bad, generally most people do fine. Unless it's, unless you answer, like a my lab assignment with like yes or no, like you answer one word.
okay.
I think, or if it's something that's just doesn't make sense generally, but most people generally do fine. I try to. The work is supposed to be thought provoking more than anything. It's stuff that you could potentially take away and use, theoretically in other places. So
Okay.
I don't think it's something I would be overly, oh God, I didn't do it right, unless it's just totally off base.
Okay, just a little nervous. I just wanted to get a feel of how the assignments are. I mean, I guess it's just the first week of school, and but
Yeah,
but I
no,
appreciate it.
it's the first thing I always did was what do you want me to do and how much is it worth? That was always my first question. Anytime I got anybody's syllabus, that's the first thing I want to know. So, but no, I think it'll be fine.
Cool. Thank you so much for meeting with us.
Mm-hmm. And your kids are welcome anytime, by the way.
Oh,
because
thank you.
I'm
He's
sure
actually outside my
mine
door.
will. Yeah, no, mine will photobomb. So at some point, so yeah, they're always welcome. So don't even don't even think about it.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Have a good night, everyone.
You're welcome. Yeah, you
Take
too.
care. Bye-bye.
I just had one question about the My Pearson. I got
Go right ahead.
an email saying that my registration attempt was unsuccessful. I'm not really sure where to go with that, seeing as I bought the online text and the access code.
You bought it through Blackboard?
Yeah, I went in through your PowerPoint and followed it step by step.
If you click on in the special ed module on Blackboard, if you click on Nikki's IEP, that application exercise, what happens?
Let's see. Oh, my thing is being slow.
Take your time. It's fine. It's room 4.
You said which module?
Special ed. The fourth link down should be Nikki's IEP. It's the application exercise 4.1 Nikki's IEP. Just tell me what that. When you click on that, I just want to know what it says. I think better direct you if I have an idea what that says.
It's telling me to register, like either pay for the book or use an access code, but I've already bought the book and the access code.
Do you have an? You know what? Can I do this? Can I put your screen up on mine?
Mm-hmm.
Me.
Don't know how you're gonna do that.
Magic. You should have. Do you have something that says share? Something that says share my screen, or is it just being really slow?
Sorry, I'm just trying to find it. It says I'm presenting to everyone.
Yeah. So
Screen share.
Yep. Screen share. Still, I see your frozen image. I didn't get anything from your screen. Okay.
Sorry, my laptop's really
that's
slow.
all right. You know what? That's all right. Try this. Go yeah, on the left, on the toolbar on the left, the second one down, that green arrow that says screen share.
Okay.
Click on that, and then it's set your entire screen and hit share.
Okay. Hopefully it doesn't do that again. Okay.
There we go. Okay. Now open your web browser. I'm looking at myself. That's kind of cool.
You want to see the Blackboard one?
Yeah. Let me see in Blackboard. Okay. So click Nikki's, and now when you click, yeah, that one. That's. Let me see. You'll get another one that says register.
Mm-hmm.
It's going. Why don't you prepaid access code? And you said you already bought the access, right?
Yeah, I paid the $67.04. Came out to like
Okay, and you got it.
$70.
You have an access code, right?
Yeah, it should be in my email somewhere, but I don't know why it's not working.
Put that. Go find it. I'm going to before you put that code in, I'm going to stop the YouTube broadcast. But where it says access code, you're going to click on there, and that's where it's going to go.
All right, I think I should have it, but
All right. So let me stop the